Hey everybody, I'm Mark, Regional Account Manager for Helmet House. I'm here today at Dupont Motorsports and we're going to go over for you in detail the new for 2016 Shoei X-Fourteen. The X-Fourteen replaces the X-12, which was the top of the line race helmet from Shoei. The X-Fourteen is all new for 2016. They took everything that they learned from the X-12 as well as input from guys like Bradley Smith, Marc and Alex Marquez, some World Superbike guys, to come up with this incredible new helmet that we're going to get into. So you'll see the box. The box is pretty big, bigger than a traditional helmet box that you would normally see in a dealership. It's a pretty good sized box, and you'll see why when I get into this thing. When we open the box, it's packaged really well. The helmet's nice. This piece of styrofoam right here on the top that helps hold your helmet is an awesome idea in that it holds your helmet. So you can actually kind of see. You can drop your helmet in there, so if you're working on the interior, changing a shield, whatever, you have some place to put your helmet that's safe. You don't have to put it on the workbench at home or on your kitchen table or your counter or whatever. It holds the helmet really securely and you can work on this thing, which is pretty cool. In the box, you're going to get the Pinlock EVO, which is a new Pinlock design, a little bit thicker, a little bit easier to put in, works a little bit better, completely fog-frees your shield. You're also going to get a bag in here with a breath guard, chin curtain, and a chin deflector, as well as your shield lube and some stickers. Stickers rule. I've already taken the liberty of putting on the breath guard, the chin curtain, and the chin deflector. So the bag's all new, a little bit heavier bag, nice piping on it, really protects the helmet nicely, and looks a lot nicer as well. So let's get into this thing. Put this stuff to the side. So immediately you're going to see this helmet's very long. It's even longer than the X-12, which was a pretty long piece as well. This helmet was completely designed in Shoei's wind tunnel. Shoei is one of the few helmet manufacturers in the world that actually owns their own wind tunnel. And they're able to do all kinds of testing in that wind tunnel. They can test for weather conditions, they can test for wind, they can test ventilation, they can test shield sealing, they can test everything you can imagine on a motorcycle helmet in the wind tunnel, and they can do it. It's a full-size wind tunnel. You can actually park a car in this thing. So they've been able to put it on a bike, bring in all their MotoGP guys, their World Superbike guys, their own design and testing engineers and riders as well, to kind of get a really good feel of how this thing's going to work in real-world conditions. Not just racing conditions, but even for the average street rider. This is a great helmet that's going to work all around. It's primarily designed for the track, but it's going to work really, really well in the street. So let's get into this thing. So you're going to see as we start to look at it, as I said, very aerodynamic shape. Everything's going to come from the front and it's going to come almost to a point in the back. Very, very aerodynamic. Designed completely for aerodynamics, buffeting, noise, lift, drag. Everything has been improved on this helmet over the X-12. And the X-12, mind you, was regarded as one of the best when it came to that kind of stuff. As a track helmet, the X-12 was pretty outstanding. This takes the X-12 to a whole nother level. So you've got Shoei's AIM Plus shell. The AIM Plus shell is a mixture of fiberglass and organic fibers, along with an aramid fiber. The aramid fiber is for penetration, think bulletproof vest, as well as abrasion resistance. That's what the aramid fiber does. So you've got a very, very strong, very safe shell. It also makes it fairly light. This helmet comes in right around 3 pounds, 4 ounces, 3 pounds, 6 ounces, somewhere in that range. So for a Snell-approved helmet, very, very lightweight. Everything that you see on this helmet has a purpose, even from these ridges on the top of the shell to these little winglets on the back. Now, these little winglets were designed to help reduce drag a little bit, also to help with aerodynamics. They were designed with Marc Marquez, and this was actually something that he came up with. They're really long, and they're adjustable, so you can actually pop these things off. There's 3 screws that you can take off, and you can actually put ones that are slightly narrow, about half the width of these. That came from Alex Marquez. Alex said that in Moto 2 and Moto 3, the speeds are lower, the racing's a lot tighter. You need to be able to move your head around a little bit more. With these longer winglets on the side, puts a lot of pressure on the side of your head, and it makes it a little bit more difficult at speed to kind of pick your head up, especially when you come up out of the shield, and turn your head to look into the next corner. So the narrow ones make it easier for the guys on the smaller bikes to move around a little bit. The shield, you'll notice, it has a flat shield. This is called the CWRF, and it's a flat shield, which means that it's injection molded, it's optically correct, but it has a flat base on it so that you can stack tear-offs on here and still not lose the optical clarity of the shield. So it has tear-off posts on it on the outside. That's how the helmet's going to come out of the box with the tear-off post. You'll also be able to get the shield in a dark smoke, a smoke, and a high visibility yellow as well. Now, what you'll notice on the flat shield are these little winglets on the side, these little nubs. These little nubs are called vortex generators. What the vortex generators do is they break up the air as it comes over the side of the helmet, and it actually quiets it around the base plate, and right where your ear sits. So it actually reduces the noise around here. It also aids in the aerodynamics of the helmet and also in the drag. So it reduces the drag substantially. This helmet overall gave you a 3% reduction in lift, so the helmet's actually going to tend to lift less than the previous X12, which was, as I said, was already really good. You're going to get a 10% reduction in drag across the side of the helmet, so it's going to be a lot more aero. You're also going to get a 50% reduction in buffeting, so the helmet at speeds is going to move around a lot less. That's key, especially for the street rider. Now, as we get into this thing, the shield, as I said, is a CWRF shield. It's the same shield that actually comes on the RF1200. So the CWR1 shield on the RF1200 will actually retro to this helmet. So if you wanted to use a mirrored shield or you wanted to use a photochromic shield, you can actually put that on this helmet as well. The locking mechanism, again, as I said, is the same as on the RF1200. You just pop that thing down and it locks. You also have a secondary lock that lifts up. So that locks this thing down completely. Unlocks it, and we're open. The interior on this helmet is the Max Dry, 3D Max Dry interior. And the interior is really unique on this thing. So I'm going to pop the headliner out of this thing. The headliner, pretty regular looking headliner for the most part. What's unique about this headliner though is that each piece is removable. As you can see. We have 5 separate pieces. Each piece is removable and adjustable for size. So we can take the front and the back of this helmet and we can make these things thicker or thinner depending on the customer and how we need to fit that customer. We can make the side pieces thicker or thinner to help aid the customer and make him more comfortable. And also the top piece is adjustable as well for height, so we can either bring it up or down a little bit. So you have about 3 different options there for sizing on the interior. The cheek pads are also adjustable. These are also 3D molded cheek pads, so you can see there's a pretty extreme curve on going sideways and then also up and down. They curve in 2 different directions to actually fit your cheeks perfectly. What's really unique about the cheek pads though is you see these holes in the cheek pads. All those holes will line up with holes in the interior, and you can see here, here, and up here and over here there's holes. Now those are your cheek pad cooling system. So this vent right here opens and closes. This vent controls airflow to the cheeks. Makes the helmet super comfortable. Higher temperatures, you ride in the summertime, you get a lot of airflow on this thing. Speaking of ventilation, you're also going to get your standard chin vent, which is adjustable in 2 positions. You have 3 openings in the front. You have a brow vent, which is also operational, 2 openings in the brow vent, and then you also have a top vent, and you have 2 holes in the top vent. So all this airflow comes in into the interior. Now Shoei has a unique way of how they circulate air in your helmet. So you have channeling, but what they also do is in the EPS liner is actually two pieces sandwiched one on top of the other. And what that allows them to do is actually channel air around the inside of the helmet between the two layers of EPS. So it actually creates almost like a vortex, almost like a fan effect, if you will. And it pulls air constantly around your head. It circulates air constantly in the helmet and out of the helmet. To get the air out, you have one vent here, and two underneath here, and then two back underneath the wing. So you actually have 6 exhaust vents. So you have 7 intakes and 6 exhausts. This thing flows a lot of air. Now you would think with that the helmet would be noisy, and it's actually not. It's actually fairly quiet. Multi-density EPS liner, what that means is that for safety purposes, the liner is very, very hard. The EPS is the styrofoam inside the helmet that protects your head. The EPS is really hard up against the shell, its initial impact, to take that impact. And then as it gets towards your head, the EPS progressively gets softer so that it lessens the impact. It absorbs way more impact initially and then lessens the impact as it gets towards your head, so it protects you as much as it possibly can. And then the last thing on the interior is actually adjustable so that you can rotate it 4 degrees up. So again, think about what this helmet was designed for in racing conditions. You're in a tuck, your chin's on the gas tank. And a lot of times when you get down in that tuck, so you'll notice you can see the top edge of your helmet. Well, with the X-Fourteen, you can take these pieces in the interior and you can actually pull them up. There's 2 snaps on the cheek pad. You can see those move up and down. And then there's 2 snaps on the headliner, which you can also move up and down. And what those do, when you rotate those up, it moves the helmet. I'm going to take the entire helmet and rotate it up 4 degrees. So when you get down in that tuck again, you're on the your chin's on the gas tank, you're not seeing the top edge of that helmet. Really, really good stuff. Really important. A lot of stuff that they learned on the racetrack. I think we've about covered it, guys. Price point on this helmet is going to be anywhere from $680 in solid colors up to about $840 for graphics. You're going to have one graphic called the Assail that's going to come in 3 different colors. You get a Marc Marquez replica and a Bradley Smith replica, and then you'll also be able to get gloss white, gloss black, and matte black color-wise. Again, I'm Mark here at Diamond Motorsports. Come see these guys if you're looking for an X-Fourteen. These guys are the experts in the X-Fourteen, and they'll be able to take care of you. Thanks for watching.